Welcome back, sleepy cuties. Settle into your blankets. Let your chest rise and fall gently. And let your tired little eyes grow heavy as we drift into the soft, shimmering world of ooh. A world where even the spooky shadows smile kindly, where the forests glow like fireflies, and where every whisper in the dark carries a gentle message meant only for dreamers like you. Tonight we follow Finn and Jake on a quiet, heartwarming horror adventure. An adventure that begins with the softest footsteps in the peaceful night of ooh. The night before the journey, it was late, very late in the treehouse. Stars sparkled outside the round window, glowing like tiny lanterns. Finn lay in his bed, already drifting between waking and dreaming. Jake was curled beside him in an extra-long dog shape, breathing in slow, gentle puffs. But something strange floated on the air. Not scary, not frightening, just curious. A whisper, a sweet one. A soft voice drifted through the open window like a breeze made of moonlight. Fine. Jack. Finn's eyes cracked open. Jake's ears perked. Dude, did you hear that? Finn whispered, still half asleep. Jake yawned, a big, stretchy yawn. Yeah, it sounded like a whisper dipped in marshmallow fluff. The whisper came again. Gentle. Inviting. Like a lullaby humming through the treetops. Come to the woods. Come see the glow. Finn sat up. Jake stretched into a long noodle shape. Should we check it out? Finn asked. Jake nodded sleepily. Yeah, but like slow. Nighttime slow. Sleepy slow. A safe kind of spooky. The forest awakens. They stepped outside, wrapped in the cool touch of nighttime air. The world was peaceful. Silent. Except for the whisper that floated like a warm cloud leading them forward. The whispering woods stood ahead, dark but glowing faintly. From afar, it looked like a forest dipped in starlight. Every leaf shimmered gently. Every branch leaned in, like it wanted to greet them. As Finn and Jake walked closer, the trees began to sway softly. Not from wind, but from awareness, as if the forest itself had woken up just to welcome them. Finn whispered, "This place is kind of beautiful, dude." Jake lowered his voice too, almost automatically, as though the woods asked for quiet. Yeah, spooky cozy. My favorite combo. They stepped onto the glowing path, the light beneath their feet spreading in gentle ripples. It felt like walking across warm moonbeams. The first spirits appear. From the shadows, tiny lights floated upward, almost like fireflies. But as Finn and Jake got closer, they realized they weren't bugs. They were spirits. Little ones. Round and soft, with tiny faces shaped like sleepy smiles. They drifted around the boys in slow circles, humming a tune that felt like a bedtime story come alive. Jake whispered, "Oh, look at these spooky little sweeties." One of the spirits drifted up to Finn's nose and booped it, very gently. Finn giggled. "Hey, little dude." The tiny spirit glowed brighter, like it was happy to be noticed. Soon more spirits gathered, forming a small cloud of friendly light around them. Their whispers overlapped into a song. Follow the path. Follow the glow. Heart brave and gentle. Down you go. The song didn't sound like a warning. It sounded like guidance. Like the forest was inviting them deeper, not to frighten them, but to show them something important. Whispers on the path. As Finn and Jake continued walking, the glowing path began to split into drifting patterns. The lights formed swirling shapes, curving lines, soft symbols that shimmered like sleepy runes. Finn squinted. Are these runes telling us where to go? Jake scratched his chin. Or maybe they're like forest bedtime doodles. The woods might just be vibing, bro. But the symbols weren't random. They lined up into a direction, guiding them gently toward the heart of the forest. The spirits followed along, bobbing in rhythmic waves, as though they knew the secret destination well. Here and there, trees leaned inward and whispered to one another in creaky but warm voices. Some whispered Finn's name. Others whispered Jake's, not demanding, just recognizing them. The chosen dreamers, the warm hearts, the ones who walk with moonlight. Jake muttered, "Man, even the spooky tree voices are being sweet tonight." A soft darkness approaches. After a few minutes of slow wandering, the path grew dimmer. The spirits gathered more tightly around Finn and Jake, glowing brighter to compensate. Finn whispered, "Are you guys protecting us?" A tiny spirit nuzzled Finn's cheek. Another lay on Jake's shoulder like a floating nightlight. Jake smiled sleepily. "Oh yeah, these are my little bedtime homies." The forest here was darker, not dangerously dark, but heavy with quietness. The kind of quiet that felt ancient, powerful, like the forest was clearing its throat before saying something important. Then, from ahead, another whisper drifted toward them. Not from the small spirits, not from the trees. Something older, something deeper, but still gentle, still safe. "Come closer. There is something you must see." Jake whispered, "Something old is calling us, dude." Finn nodded. "But it feels safe, like it's been waiting for us." The spirits bobbed in agreement, drifting slowly forward. The heart of the woods begins to glow. The path ahead brightened again, slowly, like a sunrise waking from a long nap. Soft blue light formed a tunnel of shimmering branches. The trees arched overhead in perfect symmetry, creating a natural glowing hallway. As they stepped inside, the branches closed behind them, not trapping them, but gently encouraging them to move forward, one quiet step at a time. The air grew warmer, calmer, filled with a scent like lavender and autumn leaves. Finn whispered, "I think this is where the real adventure starts." Jake nodded slowly. "Yeah, but like a sleepy adventure. And I can vibe with that." At the end of the glowing tunnel stood a large tree, ancient, massive, roots like rivers spreading across the earth. Its bark was etched with runes that pulsed like a heartbeat. The tree was alive, and awake, and waiting. The whispers gathered into a single, warm voice. "Welcome, Finn and Jake. We have been waiting for you." The spirits circled the great tree, forming a glowing halo around it. Finn stepped forward cautiously. Jake followed, staying close. The tree spoke again, soft as a lullaby. The whispering woods are changing, and only dreamers with kind hearts may help guide its transformation. Finn felt a shiver, not of fear, but of purpose. Jake exhaled slowly. "Looks like we're on sleepy forest duty tonight." Finn nodded. "Yeah, and I think this is only the beginning." The great tree glowed brighter. The spirits hummed louder. The forest leaned in to listen. And the first chapter of their quiet, eerie, heartwarming journey came to rest. The ancient tree glowed gently, a slow, pulsing light, like a lantern breathing in the dark. Finn and Jake stood beneath its sweeping branches, surrounded by the tiny, cozy spirits who floated like drifting stars. The air was calm, Still, soothing. The tree's voice rumbled softly, warm like a blanket fresh from the dryer. Come closer, dreamers. Finn and Jake stepped up to its enormous roots, feeling the soft glow under their feet. Jake whispered, "Man, this dude's got bedtime energy. I feel like I need warm milk." Finn smiled. "Yeah, it's spooky, but like cozy spooky." The small spirits bobbed around them, almost as if encouraging the boys to listen. Really listen. The tree reveals its name. A gentle stream of light traveled up the tree's trunk, illuminating symbols and runes carved by time itself. "I am called the Dreaming Tree," the ancient voice murmured. "I watch over the whispering woods, and tonight, the woods are in need." Finn blinked slowly, the warmth of the forest making his eyelids heavy. "But in need of what? Is something wrong?" The Dreaming Tree creaked softly, not in pain, but in a thoughtful old way. "Not wrong, just changing. The woods enter a new season of dreaming, but something within them sleeps too deeply." Jake tilted his head. "Sleeps too deeply? Like, over-snoozing?" "Yes," the tree replied gently. "A presence deep in the forest slumbers when it should be waking. Its dreams have grown so heavy that they spill into the woods." Finn glanced around at the whispering branches. "Is that why the woods called us?" The spirit spun in slow circles, glowing brighter for a moment, confirming it. A whisper from within the tree. The ground beneath Finn's boots vibrated softly. Not shaking, just humming, like the tree had a heartbeat. A thin line of light curled up its trunk, then stretched outward into the air, forming a soft, glowing shape, like a memory made of moonlight. The projection took the form of a small creature, round, gentle, with huge, sleepy eyes. It had long ears like a rabbit, but its body shimmered like fog. Finn whispered, "Whoa, what is that?" The Dreaming Tree answered, "That is the sleeper beast, a guardian of the deepest part of the forest. It protects the heartwood and keeps the balance of dream and night." Jake squinted. "That thing? Dude, it looks like a bedtime plushie." "Yes," the Dreaming Tree agreed. "It is soft of heart, gentle by nature. But its dreams have become tangled." The glowing vision flickered, and the gentle creature twisted slightly as if tossing in troubled sleep. Finn felt a pang of concern. "So it's trapped in a bad dream?" "Not a bad dream," the tree corrected kindly. "A deep dream. One it cannot climb out of on its own." Jake scratched his chin. "So you want us to wake it up?" The Dreaming Tree's branches rustled softly. "Wake it carefully." A path hidden from the ordinary. The Dreaming Tree slowly lifted one of its roots, massive, ancient, and covered in glowing moss. Beneath the root was a tunnel, not dark, but filled with a soft, shimmering mist that pulsed with sleepy light. "This path leads to the sleeper beast's resting place," the Dreaming Tree said. "It appears only when dreamers with kind hearts enter the woods." Finn took a deep breath. Jake stretched his arms. "Are we ready?" Finn whispered. Jake answered, "Bro, I was born ready, but also sleepy. So snoozy ready." The spirits began drifting toward the tunnel, lighting the way with their soft glow. They hummed a tune, a low, peaceful melody that echoed off the roots. "Do not run, do not fear, the woods are with you." The melody wrapped around Finn and Jake like a warm scarf. The journey through the root tunnel. Finn stepped into the tunnel first. The mist brushed against his skin like soft, cool hands, So Jake followed close behind, his body gently glowing from the reflected light of the spirits around him. The tunnel was calm, quiet. It felt like walking through a dream half remembered. Roots hung overhead in woven patterns. Some of them glowed. Some whispered. Tiny spirit lights floated ahead, illuminating the path in swirling motions, guiding them rhythmically like a lullaby in motion. Jake whispered, "I feel like I could nap standing up, dude." Finn yawned. "Same, but we gotta keep going." From deeper in the tunnel, faint echoes drifted toward them, gentle snores, long and slow, like mountains breathing. Jake blinked sleepily. "Is that the sleeper beast?" But the dreaming tree's voice returned, faint but calm. "Not yet. That is only its dream echo." Finn felt a soft tremble underfoot as they walked. The mist of memories. The mist thickened slightly, curling around their shoulders like sleepy ghosts. But soon, the mist began to shift. Form shapes, scenes. First, they saw themselves, Finn and Jake, running through a sunny field. Then another scene, playing BMO's silly dancing game. And another, Finn telling a bedtime story to Jake when Jake was tiny. Jake stared. "Bro, is this mist showing us our own memories?" A tiny spirit bounced onto Jake's head and nodded. Finn whispered, "Maybe it's reminding us who we are, so the forest knows it can trust us." The mist curled lovingly around them like it approved. Then, the memories faded, and the tunnel widened. A chamber of soft shadows. At the end of the tunnel, they stepped into a circular chamber made of earth and roots. Soft blue lights glowed from above. Shadows drifted across the walls like sleepy shapes, never threatening, just present. Finn whispered, "This place feels old, really old." Jake nodded. "And tired, like it's been waiting a long time." The chamber hummed with the same heartbeat as the dreaming tree. Roots pulsed with gentle light. And in the center of the room lay something faintly glowing under a blanket of mist. They stepped closer. Spirits gathered around, forming a quiet ring. The glow pulsed. Slow. Steady. Deep. Finn whispered, "Is that the sleeper beast?" Jake squinted. "Looks like a huge glowing marshmallow puff." Finn smiled softly. "Let's get closer." As they approached, the sleeper beast let out a long, deep sigh, filled with sadness and longing. The ground trembled faintly. The shadows wavered. Jake swallowed softly. "Dude, he's dreaming something heavy." Finn nodded. "We're gonna help." The dreaming tree asked us to. A faint whisper drifted from the creature, its first voice. "Help? Me?" Finn froze. Jake placed a gentle paw on Finn's shoulder. "Yeah, we're doing this slowly, nicely." Finn reached forward, hand trembling with empathy, not fear. "We're here," he whispered. "We're here to help you wake up." The chamber hummed. The spirits glowed brighter. The light around the sleeper beast expanded. The chamber that held the sleeper beast grew quieter. Quieter still. Until Finn could hear nothing but the soft, slow breaths of the creature curled before him. The spirits floated in a gentle ring around the room, creating a cocoon of shimmering light. The glow bobbed softly, almost like they were rocking the very air to sleep. The sleeper beast murmured again, a tiny, trembling whisper. "Help. Help me." Though its voice was faint, it wasn't frightening. It sounded like someone lost in a dream calling out gently, hoping someone kind might hear them. Finn knelt down, placing his hand near the creature, close but not touching yet. Jake settled beside him, stretching into a comforting shape. "Hey," Finn whispered softly. "We're here. We're gonna help you." Jake added in a gentle tone, "Yeah, little buddy, you're not alone in there." The creature's glow rippled, soft rings of light drifting outward like sleepy waves. The dreaming tree's voice returns. The dreaming tree's voice echoed faintly through the roots overhead, like a whisper traveling down long wooden hallways. "To help the sleeper beast, you must enter its dream." Finn blinked. "Enter its dream?" Jake poked his fingers together. Tree dude. "Is that safe?" "Safe," the dreaming tree replied. "If done gently, if done with open hearts." The spirits drifted forward and formed a pathway like a glowing bridge, leading directly to the creature's forehead, where the light was strongest. Finn swallowed, feeling a flutter in his chest. Not fear, responsibility. "What do we do?" he whispered. The dreaming tree hummed warmly. "Place your hands upon its glow and let your breathing match its own. The forest will do the rest." Jake leaned close to Finn. "Bro, we're about to do some magical sleep mind travel stuff. I'm kinda excited." Finn breathed in softly. "Let's do it together. Breaths becoming one." Finn and Jake sat on either side of the sleeper beast's glowing form. They placed their hands gently on its soft, luminous fur. The light under their palms was warm, like cuddling up to a living nightlight. The creature's breath rose and fell, slow, deep, rhythmic. Finn inhaled to match it. Jake followed, stretching his body to sync with the large creature's movement. The chamber around them dimmed. The spirits lowered their glow, and a hush fell over everything. The dreaming tree whispered, "Let the waking world fade. Let the dream open its door." Finn's eyes grew heavy. Jake's body relaxed like melting taffy. And then, with a soft, gentle pull, the ground beneath them dissolved into mist, crossing into the dream. It felt like floating, like drifting downward on a cloud that moved at the speed of calm. There was no fear, only softness, warmth, and the quiet humming of the spirits guiding them forward. Finn whispered, "Jake, you still here?" Jake's voice echoed beside him, relaxed and sleepy. "Yeah, bro. Feels like sinking into a giant pillow." Light swirled around them, blues and purples blending like watercolor in slow motion. Then, shapes appeared. Trees or stars, but not normal ones. The trees were enormous, their branches twisting in impossible spirals. Some grew upside down. Some swayed without wind. Some whispered in backwards lullabies. The sky shimmered with constellations that blinked like sleepy eyes. Finn whispered, "This must be the sleeper beast's dream world." Jake looked around, wide-eyed yet drowsy. "This is like a bedtime story got smooshed with a funky nightmare, but still kind of cozy." The ground beneath them was soft, almost bouncy, like walking on thick moss or plush blankets. Lights drifted around them, some tiny, some huge, some swirling in lazy circles. A disturbance in the dream. As they walked, Finn felt a tug in his chest, like someone calling to him from far away. A faint echo floated on the dream wind. "Lost? Lost?" Finn froze. "Jake, did you hear that?" Jake nodded slowly. "Yeah, and I'm not loving that tone, bro." The lights dimmed. Not in a scary way, more like someone lowering the brightness on a nightlight. The ground trembled faintly. Then they saw it. A ripple, a distortion, a trembling wave of shadow sliding across the dream like a slow tide. Finn whispered, "That must be the tangled part of the dream." Jake stretched tall, trying to look brave. "Oh, man, the sleeper beast must be stuck in that." The shadows weren't harsh. They weren't violent. They moved like soft ink spreading across paper. But they carried sadness, a kind of lonely ache, the first guardian of the dream. As Finn and Jake approached the shadowy area, a tall figure emerged. Not monstrous, not threatening. It looked like a spirit, made of drifting smoke, with long flowing ears and shimmering eyes. It hovered slowly, its gaze gentle. Finn lifted a hand. "Hi, we're here to help the sleeper beast." The spirit tilted its head, then spoke in a soft, wind-like voice. "Dreamwalkers, you come with warm hearts, but the sadness here is deep." Jake asked quietly, "Why is the sleeper beast sad?" The spirit floated closer, shadows curling around its form. "Because it dreams alone. Its heart is gentle, but its loneliness has grown too heavy." Finn felt a tightness in his chest. "That's kind of sad, dude." The spirit nodded. "The tangled dream lies ahead. Follow the echoes of its cry, but step softly." The spirit drifted aside, clearing a path, the path of echoes. Finn and Jake walked deeper into the dim part of the dream. The trees here drooped as though they were sleepy or weary. The stars blinked slower. Echoes whispered faintly, "Don't go. Lost. Please. Stay." Finn placed a hand over his heart. "The sleeper beast must be dreaming of being left alone," Jake whispered. "Bro, that's heartbreaking." Lights flickered ahead, weak, wavering glows. The path narrowed. Roots curled upward like hands reaching for comfort. Finn slowed his pace. "Jake, I think we're getting close." Jake nodded. "Yeah, I can feel it too." The dream air pulsed around them. Soft, sad, calling. A door made of memory. Finally, they reached a clearing. In the center stood a door. A simple door. Worn, faded, but glowing faintly around the edges. Finn blinked. "What is that?" Jake whispered. "A dream door. Has to be." The whispers grew louder behind the door. "Help! Don't leave me! Stay with me!" Finn stepped forward, hand trembling as it hovered over the doorknob. Jake placed a gentle paw on his back. "We're with you, dude." Finn exhaled slowly. "Okay, here goes." He grasped the knob. Warm, soft, like holding a memory. He turned it. The door creaked open, very slowly, and the glow spilled out, swallowing them gently. Finn and Jake stepped through, not knowing what waited on the other side, but ready, together. The moment Finn and Jake stepped through the dream door, the world shifted around them like a deep sigh. The light on the other side wasn't bright. It was dim, gentle, like the glow inside a lantern that's almost out but still trying to shine. The air was warm, thick with dream mist that curled around their ankles. And somewhere in the distance, a slow, trembling hum echoed. Jake whispered, "Finn, this dream feels heavy." Finn nodded. "Yeah, like we just walked into somebody's heart." The door behind them closed with a soft click, not trapping them, just sealing off the outside world so they could focus on what needed to be seen. The space around them was enormous, A wide field made of soft, glowing grass that swayed without wind. But the sky above, the sky was cracked. Thin lines, like fractures in glass, ran across the dream firmament, glowing faintly with sadness. Finn hissed softly. The sleeper beast's dream is breaking. Jake stepped closer to his friend. We gotta help fix it, bro. We're the dream team. The echo child appears. A tiny sound drifted toward them. A whimper. A sniffle. Barely audible. Finn's ears perked. Jake, someone's crying. They followed the trembling sound through the glowing grass until they reached a small hollow in the field a dip in the earth, where shadows pooled like spilled ink. And there, curled into a trembling ball, was a small creature. Not the sleeper beast. Something smaller, round, with long ears drooping downward. A childlike version of the sleeper beast, glowing faintly with sadness. Its tiny voice broke the silence. I'm alone. Why am I alone? Finn's heart cracked wide open. He knelt gently. Hey, little guy. It's okay. Jake lowered himself too, stretching into a soft, cushiony shape beside Finn. The creature didn't look up. It trembled harder. Finn whispered, We're here. We're not going anywhere. Slowly. The tiny dream creature lifted its head. Its eyes shimmered like two moons swimming in tears. No one stays. Everyone leaves. Jake's voice softened to a whispery rumble. Ah, buddy, that's not true. The little creature hiccuped. But everyone fades. Everything changes. And I get left behind. Finn reached out, touching the dream grass near the creature. Not too close. Not too fast. Just close enough to show he meant no harm. Who left you? Finn asked softly. The creature looked down. Everyone I cared about. In my dreams, they drift away like smoke. A trembling breath. Until I wake up alone. Finn's eyes stung. Jake swallowed hard. This wasn't just fear. It was loneliness. Deep, ancient loneliness. The first knot in the dream. The ground trembled beneath them. Shadows rose slowly from the cracked sky, not violent, not monstrous, but heavy. They moved like fog, dragging long tendrils across the grass. Finn stood protectively in front of the small creature. Jake whispered, Finn, I think those are the tangled dreams. The parts weighing the sleeper beast down. Finn nodded. Yeah, and they're coming right from its memories. The shadows whispered softly, overlapping like distant echoes. Don't forget me. Why did you go? I'll come back. Each whisper made the small creature flinch painfully. Finn knelt again. Hey, look at me. The tiny creature slowly lifted its gaze. You're not alone right now, Finn said gently. We're here with you, me and Jake. Jake nodded, tapping his own chest. Full-time cuddle support, my dude. The creature blinked. Its trembling softened a little. Just a little. But the shadows still drifted closer. A gentle confrontation. Finn stood and stepped toward the shadows. Not bravely, not forcefully, but softly, respectfully. Hey, he whispered. What do you want? The shadows responded in breathy whispers. We are memories, forgotten ones, left behind ones. Finn exhaled. You're not here to hurt anyone. You're here because you're sad too. The shadows pulsed. A ripple of quiet agreement. Jake blinked. Wait, the shadows are also lonely? Finn nodded. It's all the sleeper beast's feelings mixing together. He looked at the shadows gently. We're here to help. But we can't do that if you're hiding in the dark. The shadows wavered. Closer. Then pulling back. Then closer again, conflicted. The small creature behind them whispered, "I don't want bad dreams anymore." Finn smiled softly. "Then let's untangle them together." A light from within. The spirits, those tiny glowing guides, drifted into the dream, one by one, appearing like floating candles in the dimness. They formed a circle around Finn, Jake, and the small creature. The shadows froze, not out of fear, but out of recognition. The spirits began humming, a low, warm, soothing tune, a lullaby, soft, slow, kind. The shadows trembled, flickered, then softened around the edges. Finn reached toward them, his hand glowing faintly with borrowed dream light. It's okay," he whispered. "You don't have to be big and dark to be seen. You can be small. You can rest." Jake added, "You can chill, my dudes. Seriously, you're safe." The shadows hesitated, then slowly curled inward, shrinking like ink retreating into paper. The sky cracks dimmed. The trembling eased. The air warmed. The small echo child sniffled. "It feels lighter," Finn smiled. "See? You're not alone in the dream anymore," Jake added. "And we're gonna stick with you. All the way to the sleeper beast." The echo child's eyes widened. "All the way?" Finn nodded firmly. "Yeah, you don't have to face the scary, lonely stuff alone," Jake smiled. "Not on our watch." The next path reveals itself. The dream grass parted ahead of them, forming a glowing trail, a long, spiraling path leading deeper into the sleeper beast's mind. The echo child stood, shaky at first, then steadying itself. It walked toward Finn and gently nudged his hand. Finn's heart warmed. "You ready to go?" The creature nodded. Jake stretched into a tall swirl. "Lead the way, little buddy." As they stepped onto the glowing path, a distant trembling echoed across the dream, not frightening, but calling. The true sleeper beast was still dreaming, still trapped, still waiting. Finn whispered, "We're coming." Jake whispered, "We're bringing backup." The echo child whispered, "Thank you." And together, the three of them followed the path into deeper dream darkness. Not afraid, not alone, but united. The glowing path beneath Finn, Jake, and the echo child curved gently ahead, weaving deeper into the sleeper beast's hidden dream realm. The dream world around them dimmed as they walked. Not into darkness, but into a deeper sort of quiet. A warm, velvety hush settled over everything. The kind of hush that makes your breathing slow, makes your shoulders relax, makes your heart open. The echo child walked close to Finn, brushing its small, soft side against his leg every few steps, not out of fear, but out of comfort. Jake padded alongside them, stretching into a longer, gentle shape like a big, sleepy dog guarding its small pack. He whispered, "This place feels different, man. Like a dream inside a dream." Finn nodded slowly. "Yeah, the air feels heavier, but not bad, just deeper." The path pulsed faintly beneath their feet. A heartbeat rhythm. Slow, steady, guiding. The trees of old fear. As they reached the next stretch of the dream, the mist parted to reveal an eerie yet beautiful forest. Tall trees rose into the sky, not twisted, not hostile, just old. Their bark was dark purple. Their leaves drooped like sleepy curtains, and from their branches tiny droplets of light fell like slow-motion rain. Jake shivered softly. These trees feel like they're watching us. Finn touched one gently. It's okay. They're not scary. They're sad. The trees swayed slightly as if acknowledging his words. The echo child whispered, "This is where his fears live." Finn turned. "His fears?" The creature nodded slowly. "Not big fears, not dangerous ones. Just the fears he never talks about." Jake blinked. "Like quiet fears?" The echo child wrapped its ears around itself. "Yes, quiet fears that follow him like shadows." Finn gazed into the forest. "Is this the next knot in the dream?" The echo child nodded. The first fear takes shape. As they walked, soft rumbling filled the forest, not loud, not threatening, but low and trembly. Finn froze. Jake tensed. But then, something small emerged from behind the roots of a huge tree. A creature, no bigger than a kitten, made entirely of darkness, but with glowing white eyes that didn't look harmful, just lost. It stumbled toward them awkwardly, tripping over its own shadowy feet. Finn knelt down. "Hey, little guy." The shadow creature hissed, but the hiss wasn't angry. More scared. It tried to hide behind a root, trembling. Jake whispered, "Dude, that thing's terrified." Finn held out his hand gently. "It's okay. We're not here to hurt you." The echo child whispered, "This is fear of the dark, a tiny fear that follows the sleeper beast. It doesn't want to hurt anyone. It just doesn't want to be alone." The shadow creature peeked out, its eyes wide and shaking. Finn scooted closer and whispered, "We're not afraid of you. And you don't need to be afraid of us." Slowly, carefully, the creature stepped closer. Its little shadowy form quivered. Then it pressed its tiny head against Finn's hand, and instantly, its shape softened. The trembling stopped. Its darkness lightened into a soft gray glow. Jake exhaled. "Nice, dude. You tamed it." Finn shook his head. "No, we comforted the deeper shadows. But the forest wasn't finished. Deeper in the trees, larger fears rustled quietly. Not monstrous, just older." The echo child whispered, "Not all fears are small. Some grow when no one listens." As they walked deeper, shadows shifted around them, forming shapes. A tall silhouette with drooping limbs, a swirling mist that circled itself anxiously. A wide, trembling blur that whispered, "Don't forget me." Finn swallowed softly. Jake's ears lowered. "These are all the sleeper beast's fears," Finn murmured. "Fears of being forgotten. Fears of not mattering." Jake whispered, "That hits close, bro." Finn stepped forward to the tall silhouette and placed a hand near it. "It's okay," he whispered. "It's normal to be scared of being alone, but you're not alone anymore." The shadow rippled, slowly shrinking, then melting quietly into a soft puddle of light. Jake moved toward the swirling mist. He stretched his hand and softly booped it. "Chill, my dude. You're safe." The mist quivered, then settled like a sigh. The echo child watched with wide, hopeful eyes. "You're helping them. You're helping him." Finn smiled softly. "That's why we're here. The forest opens the way." As the last trembling fear dissolved into warm light, the trees around them straightened gently. The leaves lifted. The branches perked. The dimness brightened just a little. The forest exhaled a long, soft, relieved sigh. Jake stretched. Okay, that was spooky cozy. Mostly cozy, Finn nodded. Yeah, these fears weren't here to hurt anyone. They just needed someone to sit with them. The Echo Child stepped forward and nuzzled Finn. You're kind. No wonder the woods called for you. Finn scratched behind its dream-soft ears. Then the entire forest shimmered, and a new path unfolded between the trees. A long, wide road made of glowing roots, spiraling down into deeper dream darkness. Jake whispered, this looks like the final boss pathway. Finn smiled tiredly. More like the final friend. The Echo Child trembled, but not from fear. From anticipation. He's close. The sleeper beast. He's right beyond this path. Finn placed a hand on the creature's head. Then let's go to him. Jake nodded. All together. The spirits above drifted down, surrounding them once more in a halo of soft light. The path beckoned. Warm. Glowing. Waiting. Finn took the first step. Jake followed. The Echo Child hopped forward between them, and the dream around them deepened, like the breath before waking, or the hush before revelation. The glowing root path curved slowly downward, spiraling into a deeper, quieter part of the dream. Each step softened the world around Finn, Jake, and the Echo Child as if the dream itself didn't want to scare them, just to gently prepare them. Finn breathed deeply. The air felt thick with warmth, like stepping into a blanket fort under flickering lanterns. Jake whispered, "Man, this place feels like bedtime." Finn nodded. "Yeah, sleepy but safe." The Echo Child trotted between them, its soft light flickering like a candle. "We're close," it whispered. "He's almost awake, and almost scared." Finn knelt and cupped the little creature's face. "We'll help him, no matter what." The Echo Child blinked slowly, lovingly. And then the path opened into a great, wide chamber. The sleeper beast revealed. At the center of the chamber curled a gigantic form. Massive, shadowed, nearly the size of a mountain. But unlike the usual horrors Finn had faced, this creature's shape wasn't sharp or monstrous. It was round, soft, curled like a sleeping puppy or a frightened child. Its fur shifted in dreamlike waves, darkness turning to gentle starlight. Starlight fading into a warm, deep blue, as if it were made of night itself. Finn stepped closer, whispering, "This is him." Jake's tail lowered respectfully. "Yeah, but he doesn't look dangerous." The Echo Child nodded sadly. He never was. Just tired and lonely and afraid that if he woke up, he'd scare the world. Finn's heart squeezed. So he stayed asleep and trapped himself in his own fears. The Echo Child touched Finn's hand. Yes, he hid here, inside the dream, waiting for someone brave enough to find him, but gentle enough to not be afraid. Finn stepped even closer. The beast stirs. The sleeper beast twitched. A low rumble echoed through the chamber. Not a roar, a whimper. Its enormous paw shifted, revealing long claws, but even the claws trembled, like they were afraid of their own sharpness. Jake whispered, "He's shaking." Finn approached until he stood beside the creature's muzzle. The breath from its nostrils drifted out in soft, warm waves, like the sighs of someone who had cried in their sleep. Finn reached out and placed his hand softly against its snout. "Hey," he whispered. "It's okay. We're here now." The sleeper beast's closed eyes tightened, and deep within the dream its fears rustled. The chamber dimmed. Dark forms rippled along the walls. The air grew heavy. Jake stepped forward, stretching protectively. Uh-oh, fear's incoming. The Echo Child's ears flattened. He's dreaming of being rejected, of waking up and being alone again. Finn pressed his hand more firmly. Hey, listen. You're not alone, and you don't have to be scared of waking up. The shadows slowed, quivered, softened. The kind wake-up, Otto. Finn leaned gently against the beast's muzzle like someone comforting a friend. I know what it's like. To worry you're too much. To worry you'll mess things up just by being you. Jake placed a paw on the beast's fur. Yeah, dude. We've been there. The Echo Child climbed onto the giant creature's face, curling between its closed eyes. You are loved, it whispered softly. And the world misses you. The sleeper beast shuddered, not in fear, but in relief. Finn stroked the beast's fur, feeling the long breaths grow steadier. You can wake up, he whispered. We'll stay with you. We won't leave. Jake nodded. For real, we're like super dependable, especially at morning time. The sleeper beast let out a deep, slow sigh. The shadows along the walls faded into soft, harmless shapes, little dream animals curling up and disappearing into the glow. Finn smiled. See? Nothing to be afraid of. The beast opens its eyes. At last. The great creature's eyelids fluttered. Slowly, cautiously, as if nervous to see who waited for it. Then they opened. Two enormous eyes glowed softly, not frightening, but gentle, filled with confusion and longing. Finn whispered, Hey, big guy. Jake waved a little too enthusiastically. Sup? The Echo Child pressed its face lovingly to the beast's cheek. You're awake, and you're safe. The sleeper beast stared at them. Its breath trembled. Then, a low humming note filled the chamber, a sound like the night sky purring. The beast leaned down, nudging Finn with its massive head. Not crushing, just grateful. Finn laughed quietly. See, you're okay. The dream dissolves. As the sleeper beast fully woke, the dream realm began to melt gently away. The glowing paths unraveled like ribbons. The whispering trees bowed. The tiny fears dissolved into drifting sparks. The chamber shimmered, softened, brightened. And suddenly, Finn, Jake, and the Echo Child stood in the real forest of moonlight, hanging like a quiet lantern above the world. The sleeper beast stood before them, still large and powerful, but now awake, calm, gentle. It lowered its head, touching Finn's forehead lightly, a wordless thank you. Finn smiled. You don't have to hide anymore. Jake nodded. And if you ever get scared again, we make a mean cup of bedtime tea. The Echo Child stood beside the beast, glowing brighter than ever. I can stay with him now, and he won't be alone again. Finn knelt, stroking the Echo Child's head. Take care of each other, okay? The sleeper beast rumbled softly, a warm, deep lullaby-like sound. The forest glowed around them, calm, safe, restored. Finn whispered, Come on, Jake. Let's go home. Jake yawned loudly. Yeah, dude. It's totally bedtime. They walked away down the moonlit path as the sleeper beast and the Echo Child curled together peacefully, two hearts, once afraid, now finally resting. The wind softened. The forest sighed. The night closed in gently, wrapping everything in a warm, sleepy hush. And the last thing Finn and Jake heard was the soft, comforting hum of the sleeper beast, a lullaby drifting through ooh, guiding every dreamer safely into sleep. The night in ooh had settled into a velvet quiet, the kind of quiet that makes lanterns seem brighter and footsteps sound softer. Finn and Jake wandered a moonlit path, sleepy-eyed and relaxed after a long day of exploring. Jake stretched into a long, floppy shape, yawning. Dude, my eyelids feel like tiny, sleepy blankets. Finn rubbed his eyes. Same, maybe we should find a place to crash. As they walked, a faint glow shimmered. On the horizon, a warm, amber flicker, like candlelight in the dark. Jake squinted. Yo, is that someone's house? Finn tilted his head. I don't know, but it's kind of spooky and kind of cozy. The closer they got, the more the shape took form a castle. Tall, ancient, draped in vines. Its towers leaned just slightly, and the stone looked cracked with age. But in every window, hundreds of little lights flickered. Warm, golden candles, floating in place like tiny fire spirits. Jake whispered, Okay. Spooky, cozy castle vibes confirmed. Finn nodded softly. But look at those lights. Nobody evil decorates with that many candles. They stepped closer. The faint glow shimmered through the mist like a heartbeat. Warm, inviting, but wrapped in shadows, approaching the castle. As they reached the base of the castle hill, the air grew still, not cold, not dangerous by any means, just still, like everything was holding its breath. Finn whispered, Jake, you feel that? Jake nodded. Yeah, it's like the castle knows we're here. The path up the hill was lined with lanterns, their flames flickering gently despite the windless night. Dude, Jake said, this place is giving me bedtime ghost story energy. Finn smiled. That's exactly what it feels like. As they walked, the candles lining the path brightened one by one as if greeting them. Jake blinked. Are the candles waving? Finn shrugged. Kinda looks like it. They continued up the winding path, and the great wooden doors of the castle came into view. They were old, carved with swirling shape, crescent moons, sleepy eyes, drifting clouds. Finn placed a hand on the door. It warmed under his palm. Jake leaned close. Well, you gonna knock? Finn nodded. Gently. Knock, knock. The sound didn't echo. It didn't thud. It just melted softly into the air. Then the door opened on its own with a slow, quiet creak. Inside the candlelit castle, the interior was nothing like the outside. Instead of dark halls and cobwebs, the entry chamber glowed. Hundreds of floating candles drifted through the air, flickering without melting, casting soft, golden halos. Thick carpets muffled their footsteps. Painted portraits shimmered with a faint, ghostly glow. Jake whispered, This place, it's kind of beautiful. Finn nodded slowly. Kind of magical, too. Then a gentle voice floated through the hall, soft as dust on moonlight. Warm as a blanket fresh from the dryer. You came. Finn and Jake froze. The candles flickered. Then from the end of the hall, a glowing shape approached. A girl, but not quite solid. Her form shimmered like pale blue candle flame. She wore a floating, translucent gown that drifted like mist, and her hair hung in weightless waves. Her eyes glowed softly, not spooky, not hollow, but shy, hopeful. I'm Lumi, she whispered. The ghost princess of candlelight. Jake gulped softly. Oh, hey. Finn stepped forward gently, voice low. Hi, Lumi. We didn't mean to intrude. Lumi shook her head quickly. No, you're welcome here. No one ever visits. The candles saw you coming, and got excited. Jake blinked. The candles got excited? Lumi nodded, smiling shyly. They're my friends. They help keep the castle warm. Finn's voice softened. It's beautiful in here. Lumi's glow brightened a little. Thank you. I try to keep the darkness away. Jake raised an eyebrow. Darkness like spooky darkness? Or like emotional darkness? She lowered her eyes. Both. Finn took a gentle step closer. Lumi, are you alone here? She hesitated. Her glow dimmed just slightly. I don't like to be. But the castle scares people off, and sometimes... She looked down. And sometimes the memories wander the halls, and I get too scared to face them. Finn and Jake exchanged a look. Jake whispered. Bro, misunderstood ghost princess vibes? Finn nodded. Yeah. She's not scary, just lonely. Finn turned back to Lumi. Hey, if you want, we can stay a while. Her eyes widened. For company? Finn smiled softly. For company? Lumi slowly reached out her hand, hovering just above Finn's, like a soft glow of warmth. Thank you, she whispered. The candles drifted lower, surrounding them in a slow spiral glow, as if tucking them into a soft halo of light. But then, from the far end of the hall, a faint echo rippled through the air, a whisper, a sigh, a memory brushing against the walls. Lumi stiffened. Her glow flickered. Finn noticed. What was that? Lumi whispered. One of the wandering memories. It woke up. Jake swallowed. Should we be scared? She shook her head gently. No. They don't want to hurt anyone. They're just lost. She turned to Finn, her glow trembling slightly. I think they want to help. Finn nodded. Then we'll help them. The candles brightened, casting warm circles of light across the hall as Finn, Jake, and Lumi stepped forward together toward the wandering echoes waiting in the deeper castle halls. The warm candlelight followed Finn, Jake, and Lumi as they stepped deeper into the castle. The air inside wasn't cold, just cool enough to feel like someone was gently holding their breath. Lumi floated a little ahead, her glow faintly flickering. She looked nervous, but also relieved not to be alone. Jake whispered, So, these wandering memories, what do they look like? Should we bring snacks, blankets, ghost traps? Lumi shook her head softly. They're not ghosts, and they don't hurt. They're just pieces of moments. Moments I forgot. Or moments I tried not to remember. Finn frowned gently. Does remembering hurt? Lumi hesitated. A little, but forgetting hurts more. They continued down a long corridor, its walls lined with portraits. But these weren't normal portraits. Their faces were faded, blurry like smudged charcoal drawings. Some smiled faintly. Others looked thoughtful. But none felt threatening. Jake squinted up at one. Are these the memories? Lumi shook her head. No, and these are the people I loved long ago. But the memories, they move. Finn's soft steps echoed. Move how? A faint whisper curled through the hall, like someone breathing out a story they'd held onto for too long. Lumi paused. That's a memory? Finn and Jake leaned closer. The whisper drifted down the hallway, soft, slow, and sad. Not dangerous. just lonely. The West Hall awakens. The corridor led them into a grand hall filled with floating candles. The ceiling soared high, arched like the inside of a cathedral. Tattered banners hung like sleepy curtains untouched by any breeze. Lumi floated closer to Finn. This hall is where I held parties when I was alive. A small smile touched her lips. Everyone danced under the candles. The nights were warm, joyous. Jake wagged his tail a little. Ah, that sounds awesome. Lumi blinked slowly. Sometimes, I can almost hear it. As if summoned by her words, a new sound drifted in a faint hum, like distant music underwater. Finn whispered, "That's not scary at all." Jake nodded. "Kind of soothing, actually." Lumi's glow brightened. "That's one of the memories, waking up." A shape began to form at the far end of the hall. Not a ghost, not a monster. A soft silhouette made of pale blue mist. It shimmered gently, drifting like vapor above a candle flame. Finn stepped closer, voice calm and warm. "Hey there. It's okay." The silhouette shook lightly, not from aggression, but from confusion. Lumi floated forward, her eyes tender. "I know you. You're the memory of the last dance I had before I faded." Jake whispered to Finn. "Faded? That's ghost for, you know?" Finn nodded quietly. The memory drifted toward Lumi, pausing just inches away. Its shape pulsed. A single echo slipped into the air. A soft, shaky voice. "Lumi?" Her glow trembled. Her voice cracked slightly, but she didn't shy away. "I'm here," she whispered. "I didn't forget you. I just couldn't face you alone." The echo softened. Its misty shape stretched forward, brushing gently against her hand like a shy child. Finn murmured, "It's not angry. It's just been waiting for you." Lumi nodded, her light warming. "I think it missed me." Jake cleared his throat softly. "Hey, memory dude. It's cool. We're helping Lumi put stuff back together." The echo rippled with a soft note, almost like a tiny bell. Then it drifted around Lumi in a slow, swirling loop, a silent hug. Lumi closed her eyes, letting the memory wrap around her. "I'm sorry. I pushed you away because I was scared. I didn't want to remember the night I died. But I'm ready." The memory shimmered. Then, with a warm pulse of gentle blue light, it dissolved quietly into Lumi's chest, becoming part of her again. Lumi flinched, then sighed a soft, relieved sound. Jake whispered, "Whoa." Finn smiled. That looked healing. Lumi opened her eyes, brighter now. "I feel less empty." She placed a hand on her chest. "Thank you, both of you." But before Finn could respond, a low, humming rumble echoed through the hall. Not hostile, just deep. A door at the far end slowly creaked open on its own. Lumi's glow dimmed a little. "That leads to the east wing." Jake raised an eyebrow. "What's in the east wing?" Lumi hesitated. "That's where the sad memories wander. The ones I never dared to face. They're not mean, but they, cry." Finn stepped forward, steady and calm. "Then we'll go with you." Jake nodded. "Yeah? No way you're facing crying memories by yourself." Lumi's eyes softened, grateful and glowing. The candles drifted around them like a slow-moving, warm constellation as they walked toward the open door, each step carrying them deeper into Lumi's past, deeper into the castle's secrets, and deeper into the gentle, ghostly mystery waiting in the east wing. The door to the east wing opened with a slow, breathy sigh, as though the castle itself was exhaling a memory it had held too long. A faint coolness drifted from the hallway beyond, not cold like fear, but cool like the moment before tears fall. The candles hovering around Finn, Jake, and Lumi dimmed slightly, their warm glow softening, as if showing respect for the sadness ahead. Lumi hovered at the threshold, her gentle glow quivering. Jake leaned toward Finn. "Bro, is it just me? Or does this area feel like when you're about to remember something emotional from when you were like 5? Finn nodded. "Yeah, something old, something tender," Lumi whispered. "The East Wing is where the memories of loss wander. They're the ones I always tried to hide from. The echoes here. They don't scream. They don't chase. They just cry." Her voice trembled. Finn stepped forward, offering his hand. "You don't have to face them alone." Lumi hesitated, then placed her soft, glowing hand against Finn's palm, as if grounding herself. Jake smiled gently. "We're here for this, Lumi. Sad memories aren't bad. They just need someone to sit with them." Lumi's glow brightened with gratitude, and together they stepped into the East Wing. The Hall of Quiet Tears. The East Wing hallway was long and narrow. Tall, thin windows let in pale moonlight that painted faint silver streaks across the floor. Dust floated in slow spirals, glittering like sleepy stardust. Soft echoes drifted along the corridor, not wails, not moans, but gentle, muffled sobs. The kind that come from someone who doesn't want to bother anyone. Finn swallowed softly. Jake's ears lowered slightly. Lumi floated a little closer to them. "These are my oldest memories." Finn leaned down toward her. "What do you remember about them?" Lumi exhaled like a candle flickering. "I don't... That's what scares me." A soft, shivering shape appeared at the end of the hall. Another memory. But this one was curled up on the floor, hugging its knees. It glowed faintly blue, its form trembling gently like a candle flame in a draft. Jake whispered, "Oh, man, that's heartbreaking." Finn stepped closer. "Hey, it's okay. We're not here to hurt you." The memory didn't react. It just shook softly. Lumi drifted closer, her glow warming like a gentle sunrise. "This one," she murmured. "I think this is the memory of the night I realized something was wrong with me, before I became a ghost." Finn and Jake both stiffened slightly. Jake whispered, "You mean before you died?" Lumi nodded slowly. "My body was fading. I didn't know why. And no one else knew either." Her glow dimmed, not with fear, but with empathy for her own past. Finn kneeled beside the trembling memory. Hey," he whispered softly. "You don't have to be scared anymore." The memory flinched, then peeked its blurry face up toward Finn. Its expression was confusion, sadness, and a longing to be understood. Finn extended his hand. Lumi knelt beside him, her ghostly form glowing warmer than ever. "I am so sorry I left you alone," she whispered to the memory. "You were scared, and I didn't want to feel it, so I hid you away." The memory's trembling slowed. A soft glow pulsed from its chest. Jake approached carefully, hands up like he was soothing a frightened puppy. "Hey, little sad Lumi memory. It's okay. You're not alone now." The echo lifted its head fully this time, its tear-like drops of glowing mist floating upward. And then, slowly, it crawled toward Lumi. She opened her arms, and the memory curled into her, sighing like a tired child finally finding comfort. Lumi's voice softened. "Thank you for waiting. I'm ready to remember." The memory shimmered, rippled, and then, like a soft droplet of moonlight, melted gently into Lumi's chest. Her glow brightened, steadier than before, calmer. Jake exhaled. "Dude, she's like healing herself." Finn nodded with a sleepy little smile. "She's reconnecting." Lumi floated upward, hand over her heart. "I feel lighter, but there's more, deeper in the wing." As soon as she spoke, the hallway ahead flickered, candles dimming, shadows stretching softly. A door at the very end creaked open an inch, then another, as if beckoning them. Lumi's glow tightened around her. "That door leads to the room I never enter. The room where my last memory waits." Finn looked toward the door. He felt no fear, just a sense of importance, of tenderness. He nodded at Lumi. "Let's face it together." Jake cracked his neck. "I'm emotionally ready. Let's go." Lumi drifted forward, her candlelight soft and steady, as the three of them walked deeper into the hall, toward the memory she'd avoided her whole afterlife, toward the room where her final, forgotten truth waited in the dark, not to frighten her, but to be understood at last. The door at the end of the east wing creaked open fully, revealing a small chamber bathed in pale, quiet moonlight. It was simple, far simpler than the rest of the castle. No floating candles, no glowing portraits, just a soft carpet of dust and a single faint glow in the center of the room. Finn stepped forward slowly, careful not to disturb anything. Jake padded beside him quietly, his floppy form stretching gently along the floor. Lumi hovered just behind them, her glow faint but steady. "This is the last memory I never faced," she whispered. "I left it here, hidden because I was too afraid." The pale glow in the center pulsed faintly. It wasn't angry or threatening. It was sad, lonely, and waiting. Finn exhaled softly. "We'll face it together." "No one has to face their sadness alone." Jake nodded. "Yeah, Ghost Princess, we got your back." Meeting the last memory, the glow began to take shape. A figure slowly emerged, a young version of Lumi herself. She looked fragile, small, and frightened. Her eyes were wide with confusion. Her little hands clutched at the air as if holding on to safety she could no longer feel. Lumi floated forward, trembling. I'm sorry," she whispered. "I was scared, and I didn't want to remember." Finn placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "It's okay to be scared. You're safe now." Jake extended a paw, his eyes soft. "And we're not going anywhere." The small memory blinked, then slowly relaxed. Her glow flickered as if deciding whether she could trust them. Lumi reached out with her own hand, and when it touched her younger self, a wave of soft light rippled across the room. The last forgotten memory shivered, then melted gently into Lumi's chest, joining the other memories she had already reclaimed. Lumi exhaled a long, relieved sigh. "I feel complete," she whispered, her glow now warm and steady. The castle breeze. As Lumi's final memory returned, the castle itself seemed to exhale. The floating candles brightened, shadows softened, and the gentle hum of warmth filled every hallway. Finn looked around. The castle. It feels alive now. Jake nodded. Alive and cozy. Way more bedtime story than scary haunted house. Lumi floated upward, her glow lighting the room like a gentle lantern. "Thank you, both of you, for helping me face all my memories, for staying with me when I was afraid." Finn smiled softly. "You didn't need to be afraid alone." Jake stretched his long body and yawned. "Yeah, plus the castle is way more fun when it's full of friends." A candlelit celebration. The floating candles began to drift in slow spirals around Lumi, Finn, and Jake. Soft golden light bounced across the walls, and faint music echoed through the halls, like the distant melody of old dances and forgotten laughter. The echoes weren't haunting, they were comforting. Soft whispers of joy and peace, reminders of what the castle once was and what it could be again. Lumi laughed softly, a sound like wind chimes in the night. "It's beautiful, all of it. And now, it feels like home." Finn glanced at Jake, grinning. "See? Heartwarming spooky can be done." Jake nodded. "Mission accomplished, bro. Next step? Nap time." Lumi drifted closer, her glow wrapping around them like a gentle hug. "You'll always be welcome here. I won't be lonely again." Finn smiled, feeling the warmth settle in his chest. The castle was no longer a place of fear. It was a place of gentle light, soft memories, and friends who would stay. And as the trio floated through the candlelit halls, the shadows shifted into soft shapes, playful, comforting, and kind of lullaby of light and warmth guiding them toward rest. The castle glowed around them like a living storybook. Every candle flickered with life, and the soft echoes of old music drifted through the halls. Finn walked slowly beside Lumi, his eyes tracing the gentle, floating lights. Jake padded quietly behind, his body stretching lazily over the smooth stone floor. Lumi's glow was steady now, warm and soft, radiating peace. "I never realized," she whispered, "how much the castle wanted me to remember. It tried to show me joy, but I was too afraid." Finn smiled. "Sometimes you need friends to help you see it." Jake added with a yawn. "And sometimes snacks, but I guess memories count too." The trio drifted into the grand hall, where the ceiling stretched high like the inside of a warm, protective shell. Candles floated in graceful spirals, forming gentle constellations of light. Playful ghost candles. Some of the smaller candles danced lightly around Finn and Jake, teasing them like playful fireflies. They flickered softly against the walls, leaving trails of golden light. Finn laughed quietly, reaching out to touch one. The candle swirled around his hand, then hovered near Lumi as if acknowledging her presence. Lumi giggled softly. The nightwoods stretched ahead like a blanket of dark velvet, dotted with the soft glimmer of distant fireflies. The air smelled faintly of moss and evening dew. Finn and Jake walked slowly, their eyes wide but relaxed. "Man, this forest is kinda eerie," Jake whispered, stretching his long body over a fallen log. "But like friendly eerie, not scary eerie." Finn nodded, his eyes scanning the shadows between the trees. "Yeah, it just feels like the forest is watching over us, like it knows we need quiet." Suddenly, a soft, melodic hum floated through the air. Not loud, not startling, just gentle. Finn tilted his head. "Do you hear that, Jake?" Jake's ears twitched. Yeah, sounds like a song." The melody drifted closer, curling around the trees like a warm breeze. Then a shadow moved between the trunks. A figure emerged, floating just above the forest floor, glowing faintly in the moonlight. It was Marceline, her hair flowing like dark water, her eyes soft, and her bass guitar glowing faintly. She smiled gently. "Hey there. I heard some footsteps in the woods and thought maybe you needed a lullaby." Finn blinked, surprised. A lullaby? In the middle of the forest? Marceline nodded. Yeah, sometimes the night feels bigger than it is. Sometimes shadows get lonely or restless. A song can help. Would you like to hear one? Jake's tail twitched. Totally yes. Especially if it's magical sleepy time music. Marceline strummed a single soft note on her bass. It rolled gently through the forest and the shadows softened. The mists around them swirled in calm spirals. Finn breathed slowly. Whoa, that already feels cozy. Marceline's voice floated through the trees. Soft, sweet, low, gentle. A lullaby that seemed to wrap the forest around them like a warm blanket. The fireflies blinked in time with the music. The trees swayed gently, and even the smallest leaves shimmered in rhythm. Jake yawned, eyes half closed. Man, I feel like I can nap right here. Finn smiled, feeling the forest and the song settle around his heart. This is magical, like the night itself is singing. Marceline strummed another note, her voice a gentle whisper. And as long as you listen, the shadows won't bite, the wind won't frighten. Everything will stay calm. Finn nodded, closing his eyes briefly. I get it. It's a safe night because you're here. The melody wound through the woods like a soft thread, leading Finn, Jake, and Marceline deeper into the forest, where the song would touch every restless shadow and anxious thought, turning the night woods into a gentle dreamscape. Deeper into the night woods, the shadows and mists seemed to gather closer together, but now they didn't feel intimidating. Instead, they seemed to be listening, leaning into Marceline's soft, gentle song. Finn walked slowly, his steps careful on the mossy forest floor. Jake, it's like every shadow wants the song to keep going, he whispered. Jake nodded, yawning. Yeah, like they're little nighttime kids. Just need a lullaby to calm down. Marceline floated ahead, her bass cradled like a sleeping friend. The smallest ones are often the shyest, she said. They hide in corners or under leaves, but they need music the most. A tiny glow flickered beneath a fern. It was smaller than a firefly, with a trembling shimmer of blue light. Finn knelt and whispered softly, Hey, little guy, you don't need to hide. Marceline's song is for you. The tiny creature blinked slowly, tentatively emerging from the shadows. It twirled in the air, pulsing gently in rhythm with the melody. Jake smiled softly. See? Even the shy ones can join the party. Marceline strummed a long, slow note. The sound wrapped around the little creature like a warm blanket, and it shivered with delight, floating closer to Finn and Jake. A gentle nighttime parade. Soon more tiny dream creatures appeared, glowing wisps, floating bubbles of light, soft shapes that pulse with pastel glows in the darkness. Marceline's song grew slightly richer, the notes weaving a gentle pattern through the air. The creatures began to drift together, forming a slow, twirling parade around the three friends. Finn watched, smiling. This is like a dream festival, he whispered. Jake yawned again, curling into a sleepy spiral. Yeah, all the forest friends get their nap-time dance. The tiny creatures swirled gracefully around Marceline, their light reflecting softly on the moss and trees. Even the larger shadows had begun to sway gently, falling into the rhythm of the magical lullaby, the song of safety. Marceline's voice floated through the night woods, soft and low, soothing and warm. Close your eyes, little ones. No shadow can harm you. No wind can frighten. You are safe, and all is calm tonight. Finn exhaled slowly, letting the words wrap around him. Jake's tail twitched lazily in contentment. The tiny creatures blinked in unison, their glowing pulses slowing and softening, as if Marceline's lullaby had wrapped the entire forest in a protective hug. Marceline strummed the final note slowly, letting it linger in the air, a soft resonance that seemed to settle in the hearts of every creature, every shadow, every whisper of the night woods. Finn murmured softly, "Even the darkest places can feel safe with the right song." Jake nodded, already half asleep. "Yeah, magical bedtime vibes. I could float here forever." The gentle chorus of glowing creatures, soft shadows swaying, and Marceline's lullaby filled the forest with warmth, preparing everyone for rest and wrapping the night woods in the softest, coziest kind of night. The night woods grew quieter as Marceline led Finn and Jake deeper toward the oldest, darkest corners of the forest. Here the mists curled thicker, and the shadows stretched long and slow between the twisted trees. Finn paused, whispering, "Jake, these are the deepest shadows we've seen." "They look kind of scary," Jake yawned, stretching lazily. "Scary, but not really. Kind of like giant sleepy cats." Marceline floated a little ahead, her base glowing faintly, casting soft, reassuring light on the twisting path. "These shadows are the oldest," she said softly. "They've lived a long time, and sometimes they forget what it's like to rest." A low hum rose from the forest floor, and Finn felt a gentle vibration in the earth beneath him. It wasn't threatening, just the quiet energy of the shadows. Marceline strummed a single note. The vibration traveled through the ground, then into the shadows themselves. Slowly they shifted. No longer looming or harsh, they began to bend, sway, and float gently in rhythm with the song, teaching shadows to rest. Marceline's voice flowed like soft water. "Old shadows, it's time to sleep. The night is calm. The stars are watching. You are safe. You are warm. Let yourself rest." The deep shadows quivered and then slowly softened into tall, elegant shapes of shimmering blue and silver light. They drifted lazily, as if stretching after a long nap, curling around the trees and weaving through the mists. Finn's eyes widened softly. Even the scariest looking shadows just needed a lullaby. Jake chuckled quietly, curling into a loose spiral. "Yeah, giant sleepy forest cats vibes totally confirmed." The shadows pulsed with the rhythm of Marceline's bass, their forms glowing faintly as the song wrapped the forest in warmth. The midnight lullaby's reach. Marceline moved slowly through the woods, her voice low and soothing, each note floating like a gentle wind. The smaller dream creatures from earlier followed, hovering around the older shadows, blending light and dark into a comforting balance. "Everyone can sleep tonight," Marceline whispered. "Even the oldest shadows, even the shyest creatures. The night belongs to calm and to rest." Finn closed his eyes for a moment, letting the melody wrap around him like a soft blanket. Jake's tail twitched lazily as he sank into the moss, already half asleep. Even the wind seemed to slow, sighing softly through the trees, as if the night woods itself had exhaled in contentment. A safe forest. The shadows settled around Finn, Jake, and Marceline, their shapes gentle and soft, pulsating faintly with the melody. The mist swirled lazily, reflecting tiny glimmers of light from the floating creatures. Marceline strummed one last long, low note. It lingered in the forest, settling into every branch, every leaf, and every shadow and glimmering light. Her voice floated with the final note. Sleep well, little ones. Sleep well, gentle shadows. The night is yours, safe, warm, and calm. Finn exhaled softly. This is amazing. Even spooky woods can be safe when you have a song like this. Jake yawned one last time, curling fully against a soft patch of moss. Yeah, magical bedtime vibes, maximum level. The night woods glimmered softly under the gentle moonlight. The shadows curled in peaceful spirals, and the smallest creatures rested quietly, all wrapped in the warmth of Marceline's midnight lullaby. As Marceline's lullaby continued, the night woods began to change. The mist swirled in gentle spirals, reflecting faint glimmers of soft light. Even the moss under Finn and Jake's feet seemed to glow, like tiny patches of comfort carpeting the forest floor. Finn took a deep breath. Jake, it feels like the whole forest is smiling, like it's happy. Jake yawned, stretching slowly. Yeah, and sleepy too. Perfect bedtime vibes. Marceline floated slowly above them, strumming her bass softly. The night can feel big, she said, but music can show that it's safe, that even the shadows, even the dark corners, can rest. Tiny dream creatures floated around, their soft light weaving among the shadows. They twirled and danced with the larger shapes, forming patterns like soft ribbons of gold and blue. The forest, breathing slowly. Finn walked carefully through the glowing moss, watching as the shadows curled into gentle spirals, and the light from the tiny creatures reflected softly on every leaf. It's like the forest itself is breathing, he whispered. Jake nodded sleepily, tail curling around his paws. Yeah, a big, comfy forest hug. Marceline's song pulsed gently in time with the subtle movements of the shadows. The night woods, once eerie and mysterious, now felt safe, warm, and alive with gentle energy. Even the tallest trees leaned softly toward the path, as if listening to the lullaby and sighing in contentment. A circle of friends. Marceline lowered her voice to a whisper, each note soft as a feather. Little ones, shadows, and wanderers of the night, you are safe. You are warm. Let yourselves rest. Let yourselves dream. Finn smiled, looking around at the glowing forest. Even the shyest shadows, even the tiniest dream creatures, they all have a place now. Jake yawned and stretched out completely on the soft moss. And we get to be part of it. All thanks to Marceline's song. Marceline floated down beside them, her glow a calm, gentle halo. Everyone deserves a safe night, she whispered. Even the night itself. The floating creatures twirled in slow spirals around them, and the shadows settled, curling gently like blankets. The forest hummed a quiet lullaby of its own, echoing Marceline's magic and weaving the night woods into a cocoon of warmth, preparing for sleep. Finn closed his eyes, letting the soft melody wrap around him like a warm, invisible blanket. Jake's eyes fluttered, his body fully relaxed, as though the forest had pressed a gentle paw on his shoulder. Marceline strummed the final soft notes of her lullaby, letting them linger in the cool night air. The shadows and lights pulsed once more, then settled into slow, peaceful rhythms. Finn murmured sleepily, This is the kind of forest I could dream in forever." Jake yawned, tail curling lazily. "Yeah, magical sleep vibes, check. Even the trees seemed to bow slightly, their leaves whispering tiny goodnights to the friends below. The night woods, once mysterious and a little spooky, had become a safe haven, perfect for drifting into gentle sleep. The night woods glimmered softly under the moonlight. The shadows curled gently, and the tiniest dream creatures floated in slow, calming spirals. Finn lay down on a patch of glowing moss, his eyes half closed, listening to the fading notes of Marceline's lullaby. Jake curled beside him, tail tucked in, already drifting toward sleep, his ears twitching lazily in rhythm with the music. Marceline floated above them, her bass glowing softly, strumming the last gentle notes, each one carrying warmth, comfort, and calm. The forest's lullaby. "Good night, little shadows," Marceline whispered. "Good night, tiny dream creatures. The night is safe. The night is kind. Let yourselves rest." The soft notes wrapped through the trees, curling around every branch, leaf, and patch of moss, coaxing the forest into a deep, peaceful rhythm. Even the oldest, deepest shadows relaxed fully, their long forms swaying gently in the moonlight. The forest seemed to hum along with Marceline's song, breathing slowly, like a living lullaby. A circle of calm friends. The floating creatures twirled around Finn, Jake, and Marceline, glowing faintly like tiny lanterns. The shadows and mists moved slowly with them, never looming, only drifting in gentle, protective patterns. Finn whispered softly, "Even the darkest woods feel warm when someone sings." Jake yawned, eyes drooping. "Yeah, magical bedtime vibes. Perfect." Marceline's glow wrapped around them like a soft blanket, her voice fading into a gentle hum. "Rest now. Dream well. The night will keep you safe." The forest settles. The moonlight filtered softly through the trees, painting the night woods in calm silvers and blues. The shadows curled like cozy blankets. The dream creatures twinkled like soft stars, and the mists drifted slowly like gentle waves lapping at the shore of a quiet lake. Finn and Jake's breathing slowed, their bodies fully relaxed, their hearts warm with comfort. Marceline floated above, letting the last notes linger in the cool night air, then lowered her glow to a soft shimmer, watching over the peaceful forest and the friends she had calmed. "A heartwarming sleep," Finn murmured as his eyelids finally closed. "The night woods isn't scary anymore. It's magical." Jake's tail twitched once, then relaxed fully. "Yeah, perfect sleepy time forest vibes." Marceline whispered softly to the floating lights, the shadows, and the trees. "Good night, everyone. Sleep well. We'll meet again in the dreams." The forest exhaled gently, and a soft, magical calm settled over the woods. Every shadow rested. Every creature floated peacefully. Every note of the lullaby lingered in the heart of the night. Finn, Jake, and Marceline drifted into sleep, wrapped in warmth, music, and friendship, as the night woods glowed softly around them, safe, cozy, and full of gentle dreams. The treehouse felt quiet at first. Finn and Jake wandered inside, expecting the usual cozy chaos. "Everything seems normal," Finn said. Jake's tail twitched nervously. "Yeah, except, do you hear that?" A faint giggle echoed down the hall, soft, high-pitched, almost like bubbles popping. The floorboards flickered with tiny digital sparks. Finn tilted his head. Is that BMO?" BMO appeared in the doorway, smiling brightly, screen flickering with colorful lights. "Hi, friends. Do you want to play a game?" Finn grinned. "Sure. What game?" BMO's screen shimmered with tiny glowing pixel shapes. Hide and seek with my new friends. Jake blinked. Your friends? You mean ghosts? BMO nodded. Tiny digital ghosts. They love to play, and they're super friendly. They don't scare anyone. Promise. A faint wave of tiny, shimmering figures appeared along the walls, pixelated ghosts floating lazily, giggling softly as they twirled in the air. Finn stepped forward, smiling softly. Ah, they're cute. Not scary at all. BMO giggled, bouncing a little. Exactly. They just like to hide and be found. Ready to play? Finn and Jake nodded enthusiastically, and with a cheerful beep, BMO signaled the start of the game. The ghosts flickered and giggled, vanishing into the walls, floors, and corners of the treehouse. The game had begun. A magical, cozy, haunted, hide-and-seek adventure. Finn and Jake tiptoed carefully through the treehouse, their eyes wide with excitement and curiosity. Where do you think they're hiding? Finn whispered, peering around a bookshelf. Jake's ears twitched. Everywhere. I can hear tiny giggles from that corner, and that one, and even up there. He pointed to the ceiling, where faint, pixel-like sparkles drifted lazily above. BMO floated ahead, glowing softly. Shh. Remember, you have to find them, but they can move too. The goal is to laugh, not to rush. Suddenly, a soft, shimmering shape zipped past Jake's tail. It giggled, a light, airy sound like wind chimes in the evening. Jake yelped softly. Whoa, did you see that? Finn laughed quietly. Relax, buddy. Just a ghost. A friendly one. Another tiny, pixelated ghost peeked from behind the couch. Its glow flickered like a little lantern, then disappeared with a quick, playful giggle. BMO floated closer. See, they're just shy and playful. Sometimes hiding is their way of saying hello, finding the first ghosts. Finn crouched down and reached toward a flickering light behind the bookshelf. A tiny ghost hovered there, its edges soft and glowing. It giggled and circled his hand slowly. Finn smiled warmly. Hey, little buddy. Gotcha. The ghost twirled happily and darted toward Jake, leaving a faint trail of sparkling pixels in its wake. Jake laughed softly, holding out a hand. All right. Right. I see you, tiny ghost. BMO's voice chimed joyfully. Good job. Keep going. There are lots more hiding around the treehouse. The three friends moved quietly through the hallways, finding little clusters of digital ghosts behind doors, under rugs, and even floating near the ceiling beams. Each ghost giggled when found, then darted playfully toward the next hiding spot, leaving trails of soft, glowing lights. Finn whispered, Even the spookiest corners of the treehouse feel cozy. They're not scary at all. Jake nodded, tail curling lazily around a couch leg. Yeah, it's like the treehouse itself is laughing with us. A cozy, haunted adventure. The lights of the ghosts flickered gently as the game continued. Some floated slowly along the walls like playful fireflies, while others zipped past the floorboards in joyful loops. BMO's screen glimmered softly. Remember, the point is to enjoy the game, not to hurry. See how everyone is smiling? Even the shadows are joining in. Finn watched as a tiny cluster of ghosts swirled together in a circle. They floated in patterns like slow glowing ribbons, their edges soft and comforting, not sharp or harsh. Jake yawned, curling into a sleepy spiral on the mossy carpet patch BMO had made for the game. Best friendly haunted game ever, he mumbled. Finn smiled, feeling the warmth and laughter in the room. The treehouse, the ghosts, Everything's alive with playful, gentle energy. Even spooky can be cozy. BMO floated above them, humming a cheerful, soft melody. Good job, friends. The ghosts love that you're having fun. And don't worry, the game never ends if you want it to continue tomorrow. Finn laughed softly, watching a ghost curl around Jake's tail in a lazy loop before darting toward a bookshelf. Yeah, but I think we're ready for a break now. Jake stretched, yawned again, and murmured, Yeah, sleepy time break, with happy ghosts. The treehouse seemed to hum along with BMO's melody, the ghosts glowing softly, flickering lazily as if nodding in agreement. Every corner, every hallway, every beam felt alive with warmth and gentle, friendly energy, a perfect combination of haunted and cozy, ready for sleep. Finn, Jake, and BMO followed the playful giggles deeper into the treehouse. The familiar hallways seemed different now. Soft shadows curled gently along the walls, and tiny clusters of digital ghosts floated like glowing lanterns. Whoa, Finn whispered. Even the corners look magical. Jake's ears twitched. Yeah, it's like the shadows are having their own little dance party. BMO floated ahead, screen shimmering with a soft smile. The ghosts love to show their favorite hiding spots. Some are secret corners, some are places you wouldn't expect. A faint trail of sparkles led them under the stairs, where a cluster of tiny pixel ghosts peeked out from behind the railing. Finn crouched slowly, reaching toward the nearest ghost. Hey there. Gotcha. The ghost giggled, spinning lazily in the air, leaving a sparkling trail as it floated toward Jake. Jake laughed softly, tail curling around a floorboard beam. Okay, I see you. So many tiny friends in here. BMO giggled in a digital chirp. Some corners are their favorite. They like to hide where the light flickers, or where the floorboards creak softly. It makes the game extra fun. The glow of friendship. Finn noticed the soft glow reflecting off the walls, casting gentle patterns across the floor. The shadows weren't scary at all. They were like cozy blankets draped around the rooms. This is kind of like a sleep-friendly haunted maze, Finn whispered. Jake yawned, eyes drooping. Yeah, magical cozy. And friendly. BMO led them to the attic where the wooden beams glowed faintly. The ghosts twirled in playful loops, their tiny lights flickering softly against the rafters. One particularly shy ghost peeked from behind a beam. Finn whispered, It's okay. You don't have to hide forever. The ghost floated slowly toward him, its edges soft and shimmering, and Finn gently reached out his hand. The creature twirled around his fingers, leaving a trail of tiny sparks in the air, like soft stars dancing in a night sky. Jake chuckled softly, curling into a warm spiral on the attic floor. This is the coziest haunted spot ever. Even the shadows are smiling. A magical pause. BMO hovered above them, glowing warmly. The ghosts love sharing their favorite hiding spots. It's like giving you a piece of their magical world. Finn smiled sleepily. They're not just fun to play with. They make the whole treehouse feel alive. Friendly, safe, cozy. Jake yawned again, tail flicking lazily. And kind of sleepy, too. The tiny ghosts twirled and glimmered, forming soft arcs of light, hovering near Finn and Jake as if tucking them in. Even the wooden beams of the attic seemed to hum softly, matching the rhythm of the little glowing friends. BMO's screen glimmered warmly, a soft digital lullaby playing in quiet pixels. Good job, friends. You've explored all the secret corners. Now, maybe it's time to rest. Finn nodded, closing his eyes briefly. Jake yawned fully, curling further into the glowing patches of moss and carpet BMO had prepared. The treehouse glimmered softly in the ghostly lights, the shadows gently folding around the friends like warm blankets, and the tiny digital spirits floated lazily, giggling softly, making every corner magical, playful, and perfectly cozy for sleep. Finn, Jake, and BMO tiptoed through the treehouse, following the soft giggles of the digital ghosts. Every hallway and corner seemed alive now, flickering with soft lights and gentle shadows. "Whoa," Finn whispered. "Everywhere we look, there's a little sparkle or glow." Jake's tail twitched lazily, and a tiny giggle, like they're sneaking up on us, but in a friendly way. BMO floated ahead, its screen glowing warmly. The ghosts love to play tricks. Not scary ones, playful ones. They like to hide in places that make you smile when you find them. A tiny, pixelated ghost zipped past Finn's shoulder, leaving a trail of soft light. Finn turned slowly and whispered, "Gotcha. Hey, little buddy, you're super cute." The ghost twirled in the air, giggling softly, then darted toward Jake. Jake chuckled, stretching lazily. Okay, I see you. Come on, I'll play along." Friendly haunts. The friends continued exploring, discovering ghosts peeking out from behind furniture, hiding under rugs, and floating gently near the ceiling beams. Some of the smaller ghosts began forming playful shapes hearts, stars, and tiny glowing spirals, hovering around Finn and Jake like a magical crown. Finn laughed quietly. "They're like little night lights that giggle." Jake yawned, curling into a soft spiral on the carpet. "And totally cozy. Even the spookiest corners feel warm now." BMO floated closer, humming softly. "See, they just want to share fun and make the treehouse happy." The friends moved into the living room, where a cluster of tiny ghosts twirled in the air, forming a gentle spiral of glowing light. It was like a soft, magical carousel for the eyes, the heart of the game. Finn reached toward one of the ghosts, and it darted around him playfully before landing gently on his shoulder. "Whoa, this is awesome. Even the little spooks are friendly." Jake laughed softly, watching the shadows and lights dance across the room. "Yeah, it's like a cozy, haunted party, but without any scares." BMO giggled in a soft, digital chirp. "You found all the secret corners. Now the ghosts are showing you their favorite game tricks." A tiny ghost zipped upward, then back down, leaving trails of sparkles. Another formed a tiny glowing spiral and floated slowly around the ceiling. The treehouse felt alive with gentle, magical energy, playful, heartwarming, and perfectly safe. Finn leaned back, smiling. The treehouse, even when it's haunted, feels like home with friends like these. Jake yawned deeply, curling even tighter into the soft, glowing carpet. "Yeah, magical bedtime vibes. Maximum comfort." BMO hovered above them, softly glowing, its melody humming in gentle digital tones. "Good job, friend. The ghosts love you, and the treehouse loves you too." The tiny digital spirits floated lazily around, casting a warm, playful glow over every beam, wall, and corner. Even the shadows curled gently, folding around the friends like soft blankets, making every part of the treehouse cozy, magical, and ready for sleep. The treehouse was alive with soft flickers of light, tiny giggles, and gentle, playful shadows. Every corner, every hallway, every ceiling beam sparkled with the energy of BMO's friendly digital ghosts. Finn walked slowly, taking in the glowing scene. "Jake, It feels like the whole treehouse is celebrating. Jake yawned, tail curling lazily around a patch of glowing carpet. Yeah, like a magical sleep party. I could stay here forever. PMO floated above, screen shimmering warmly. You're doing great, friends. The ghosts are so happy you played with them. They love showing their favorite spots. A tiny cluster of pixel ghosts zipped along the walls, then twirled lazily into a soft spiral, leaving glowing trails behind them. Finn reached out, and one of the small ghosts floated toward him, circling his hand gently before spinning playfully around Jake's tail. Jake chuckled softly.